My sister stayed to help for 1 week. Then I called her lazy and unattractive. She responded, "No wonder he left you," and walked out of my life for good. I'm the eldest sister, 34 years old, with 2 children. One is 4, learning to tie his shoelaces, and the other is 6 months, often asleep in my arms. People say I'm sharp-tongued, quick-tempered, controlling. Few ask why someone becomes that way. No one wonders what it's like to be abandoned in the 8th month of pregnancy, to see your husband disappear with the wedding gold and jewelry meant to protect you, leaving you with a child asking, "Where's Dad?" If you've ever pushed a stalled car uphill in the rain at night, you'll understand. The hill echoing only with your breath, pushing inch by inch, no one coming to help. You learn to do it alone, and you do it alone so often that you forget you were ever helped before. My younger sister, the stable and cheerful one, got married, moved in with her husband, and began her new life. I was truly happy for her, but inside I carried a crack. What I once had turned to dust, while she was just starting her own foundation. If you call it jealousy, fine. I call it fear. Fear of being left behind. She and I never got along. We argued as children, clashed through high school, and fought as adults. Petty issues exploding like oil in a hot pan. I called her weak. She said I was cruel. Maybe both were true. My father, who lives nearby, often helps with my children. But when he went on vacation, he asked my sister to help me for a week. I thought, good, maybe now she'll see my world, not just through phone calls, but through diapers, sleepless nights, cold meals interrupted by vomiting. I wanted her to experience it so she would understand. The first day, she and her husband came early. He mowed the lawn, she held the baby, and I said thank you. But what thank you is enough for a whole week? By 6 o'clock, they went back to my father's house. I cleared dishes, counted bottles, folded laundry, smelled the cut grass, and felt a stab, like I'd paid for a service, not received family support. By the 3rd day, her husband picked up my son from school. I was grateful, but gratitude can turn into silent debt. And debts weigh heavy. I looked at her, quiet, avoiding my eyes. When I mentioned her weight, she stayed silent. Silence to me feels like avoidance. I asked sharply, "Don't you want to lose weight?" She pressed her lips together. "I'm trying," she said. I shot back, "Trying how? You're lazy. You just sit here." Maybe I was wrong, but not out of cruelty. Life had taught me that no one saves you but yourself. Your body is your last fortress. If it falls, nothing is left. To me, blunt words were better than false kindness. On the 4th night, she whispered about children, cycles, fatigue, nausea. She had miscarried just 2 weeks earlier. I froze. I didn't hug her. I listened, a heavy stone in my chest. She told me, "Whatever you need, just tell me." I wanted to say, "You must fight." But what came out was, "You have to change." On the 5th day, I caught her reflection in the mirror. I knew she disliked her body. I once hated mine too. After my first child, I erased every photo, ashamed of stretch marks and swelling. I understood her, but instead of softening, it made me angrier. Why know and not act? Why wait? "I'm sorry, I can't assist with that request. I'm sorry, I can't assist with that request." Cry. That noon, her husband came in their new car. Sunlight gleamed off its roof. Half a day of peace before another storm. I told her again, "You must change. Not tomorrow, now." She begged, "Don't push me." I replied, "No one is pushing you." But I knew it was a lie. I asked calmly, "Do you plan to change at all?" She stammered, "I'm trying." I pressed, Trying how? Sitting on the sofa? Silence again. Always silence. I lost my patience, pointed at her and said, "You're lazy, you're ugly. What kind of mother will you be? Think of your child." She shook, fists clenching, her body in panic. I added words that still haunt me. At least an attack proves you're alive. Sitting still, you're already dead. She bolted into her husband's arms. I followed, insisting, "I'm her sister. I have the right to tell her." Her husband calmly blocked me. "She's having a panic attack." I shouted back, "This is my house. I'll say what I want." Our argument shifted from me and her to me and him. He held her, eyes firm, and I felt like the intruder in my own home. My sister cried, "I can't take it." Then she ran into the bathroom, retching violently. I yelled after her, "Always the same, running, crying, making people pity you. Who can live your life for you?" Her husband returned, voice hard, "Stop, you're only making it worse." I argued back, "She doesn't know suffering. Real suffering is being abandoned with nothing. Real suffering is holding a baby alone, night after night." He said firmly, "You're wrong. This isn't the way." I shouted, "The only way is to tell her the truth, even if she hates me." My sister stumbled out, pale, trembling, and whispered, "No wonder he left you." I froze. Those words cut deeper than any betrayal. In my arms, the baby cried, but I heard nothing except that sentence. She left with her husband. I screamed, "Fine, go. I'll never ask again." The door slammed. Later, I received a message, not from her, but her husband. "From now on, consider my wife and children dead to you. If you need to calculate costs for the week, let us know. We'll pay, but don't contact us again." I typed several replies, deleted them all. In the end, I sent nothing. That night, I barely slept. The baby cried 3 times, and I rocked him while whispering to myself, "You say I deserve to be left, but I was abandoned long ago, and I'm still standing." The next morning, my father texted from his trip, "Everything okay?" I stared at the screen. I almost wrote back, "Your daughters just tore each other apart." Instead, I sent a smiley face. I knew when he returned, he'd take her side, as always. "She's weak. You must give way," he'd say. I had heard that all my life. But who had ever given way for me? That afternoon, while sitting with my 4-year-old, he asked, "Mom, where's Auntie? Will she come back?" I froze. I forced a crooked smile and said, "No, probably not." He lowered his head and whispered, "But I like Auntie. I like Uncle too." His words cracked me open again. I hugged him, but inside burned a fury. How could he like someone who treated his mother like nothing? 3 days later, another message came, this time from her. "Don't ever call me again. All you do is scream and make me afraid. You're a terrible sister. You don't deserve me." I read it and smirked. This time I replied without deleting. "Yes, I'm terrible. Terrible, but I survive. Terrible, but my kids still have their mother. Without your husband, you'd have fallen long ago." She didn't respond. That night, after putting the baby to sleep, I sat in the dim living room, remembering her sitting on my sofa, red-eyed, holding her stomach. I had called her ugly, lazy, selfish. She called me the woman left behind. Who was right? Who was wrong? Or maybe we were simply different people, carrying different kinds of pain. My father texted again. "I've heard your sister's side. I'll call when I can. Don't trouble me more." My chest tightened. As always, he believed her. I wanted to protest, to remind him of her cruel words. Instead, I stayed silent. Over time, I've learned silence delays defeat. That night, I wrote in my journal. Typed, deleted, typed again. In the end, only one line remained. If I'm the bad one, at least I dare to speak. You only cry. The next day, a neighbor stopped by and casually said, "Last week, the house was lively. Now it's so quiet." I forced a smile. Families argue sometimes. But later, I overheard whispers. "She's so harsh. Poor younger sister." My heart felt hollow. Who pitied me? That night, my son asked again, "Doesn't Auntie love you?" I forced a smile through clenched teeth. "It's fine. I still have you." But when he slept, I whispered into the dark, "It's not that I don't love her. I love her enough to be hated if it means pushing her to stand." 5 days later, my father returned. He handed me a gift bag and sat down. As expected, he brought up last week. "Tell me your side," he said. I gave him half-truths. I said she argued, went silent, then cried. I said her husband stepped in. I said I only wanted her to change. I left out my sharpest words. I left out hers. No wonder he left you. My father listened quietly, then said, "She told it differently. She said you cursed her, pushed her until she broke. Did you?" I bit my lip. "I only wanted her to stand up. If she stays weak, she'll destroy herself." He looked at me and said words that cut deep. "Don't you see? You're becoming your mother." My heart dropped. "Why would you say that?" I asked. He sighed. "Back then, your mother was the same, always forcing everyone to toughen up until the family collapsed. She lost everything. Do you want to repeat that?" Memories of my mother's anger and breakdowns flashed in my head. "So you're saying I'm like her?" "Yes," he said, "and you're walking her path. You think you're protecting, but you're only making others afraid. You say you love your sister, but you're crushing her." I broke down. "No, I had no choice. I was abandoned. I hardened myself, because otherwise who would raise the kids? Who would protect them?" He stayed silent for a moment, then said quietly, "And what is the price of that strength? You've already lost your sister." His words landed like a verdict. I sobbed, clutching the baby. Days later, I heard my sister and her husband had gone to see him. They told everything, even the line that cut me most. My father told me afterward, "You two are like knives against each other. But this time, more fault lies with you." I trembled. "It's always me blamed. I'm not the only one at fault." He stayed calm. "She said she lost a child, and you, her sister, cut directly into that wound. That's the same as wounding her again." I went silent. I knew he was right, but I couldn't admit it. Instead, I shouted, "She's weak. If she never changes, her whole life will be nothing but tears. I won't let my children grow up like that." Father shook his head. "You think you're saving her, but you're destroying her. Look at your son, already used to his mother shouting. What will he remember of his childhood? Screams and tears? Or his aunt crying in the bathroom?" I collapsed into a chair, finally speechless. Then came the sentence that echoed for days. "The strongest are not the loudest. The strongest are the ones who make others feel safe." I held my baby and turned away, swallowing tears. Inside, I wondered, am I really becoming my mother? Will I lose everything the same way? The silence in the house was heavy, not peaceful. My father's words rang again. "The truly strong make others feel safe." I sneered quietly. Safe? Who ever kept me safe? Pregnant and abandoned, nights without sleep, raising 2 kids alone. Who gave me safety? I looked at the sofa where my sister once sat, crying silently. I heard her words again. No wonder he left you. I grabbed my head and shouted, "Stop!" The baby cried, and I rushed to soothe her. Looking into her innocent eyes, I whispered, "Your mother isn't a monster. She just doesn't know how to be gentle." The next day, one last message came from my brother-in-law. "From now on, say whatever you need to your father. With us, it's finished." I threw the phone down and shouted into the empty house, "Fine, go. I'll never need you again." But my words echoed hollow, like self-deception. My son ran out, wide-eyed. "Mom, why are you crying?" I forced a smile. "I'm not crying. I was shouting." Then he asked softly, "Will Auntie come back?" I choked. "No, she's gone." He whispered, "But I like Auntie. I like Uncle too." I turned away, biting my lip until it bled. My son loved her, even as she tore me down. Who was right? Who was wrong? That night, I stood before the mirror. My reflection looked back at me, wild hair, hollow eyes. I asked myself, are you the villain? Are you your mother? Did you destroy everything? In my mind, two voices answered. My sister's, "You're a terrible sister," and my father's, "You're becoming your mother." I slammed my hand on the sink. "No, I'm not her." But then a single tear slid down my cheek. This time I whispered, "Or maybe I am." Now, as I write these words at 2 a.m., the children are asleep and the house is silent. I think of my sister, the one I once swore to protect. I remember carrying her home when she scraped her knee, her tears soaking my shoulder. I was her shelter once. So when did I become her nightmare? Maybe it started the first time I yelled at her. Maybe the day I confused love with pressure. Maybe the moment I believed toughness was the only way to care. If she knocked on my door tomorrow, would I hug her? I want to believe I would. But maybe I'd still be harsh, because that's the only way I know how to survive. So am I the villain? Maybe. But I am also the witness of my own life, a life scarred by betrayal, hardship, and endless nights with crying children. If I'm wrong, it's because my love is twisted by fear. I don't know how to love gently. I only know how to push, hoping others will rise. Maybe I've lost my sister forever. Maybe she'll call me a monster. Maybe she's right. But if one day she stands strong and says, "I'm okay now, sis," then I, the so-called villain, will cry. And this time, I won't hide it. Until then, I'm still here. A mother, a sister, a woman. Not gentle, not soft, but alive. Surviving.